Hello, everybody, and today I just wanted to go over and talk about Styx the Badger. I don't know why, I just felt compelled that after the Terios video I did, I wanted to start now going through, characters from Sonic, whether they be, old characters that never happened or characters that did happen. We could just talk about them, a bit. So I wanted to talk about Styx. I felt that Styx was a great character to talk about because she's in a weird position where she was from a different show during the meta era of Sonic Boom, and for a lot of people thought she was she's just a Sonic character, part of the crew, right? Because of where we were with Boom, and Sega was really pushing Sonic Boom at the time. But she's not, and since Boom has ended, we have not really seen Styx really at all since Boom's ended. And due to something we'll get to later, her name has come up in conversation again. But I just wanted to spend this video talking about Styx, her creation, appearances she's had outside of Boom, and maybe where we can go from here. So let's start with Styx's creation. So Styx was created by Hiroyuki Miyazaki, who is the Chief Content Officer for Sonic and Sega of America. He, when talking about Styx, said that Styx is a significant addition to the Sonic Boom universe and the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, and is meant to form the core ensemble featured of the Sonic Boom franchise, alongside Sonic, Tails, Amy, and Knuckles. Helping round off the cast, she is meant to bring a quirky personality and perspective to the team dynamic, and her character adds an endless amount of humor and surprise to the Sonic team. Then, according to Bill Freeberger, who was the producer for Sonic Boom, the reason for creating Styx was very often just to deliver his own message and represent his point of view and belief system. As everyone knows, that is not a good reason to create a character. Now, I don't feel like this was actually the reason why Styx herself was created. I'm sure that's just Sonic Team wanted to introduce an entirely new character. They chose Styx to be the character, but I feel that Bill here took over Styx and is the reason she has the personality that she does. Which it says here, as I have written down, this is the reason why Styx sometimes says absurd things and is proven right in the end. In Freeberger's opinion, Styx brings a healthy dose of cynicism to the series to counter the heroism of her friends, making her more akin to an anti-hero, which I never got that. I never got the fact that Styx is an anti-hero who wouldn't help people. She's in it for herself. I never get that fact. She really comes across as just a member of Sonic Team, but she's the quirky, kooky one. Ooh. The big factor of Styx is her personality, which is that of a conspiracy theorist and overall plain nutball. Some of her conspiracies are, and here we go, guys. Okay, so some of the conspiracies that Styx has is she suspects the government of being behind a lot of shady activities, which is true, by the way. I completely agree with that one. Including mind controlling the public. I mean, kinda, yeah. And often thinks about toppling the government. As such, she has equipment prepared for even the oddest situations. It's a trope you see a lot, right? Like the quirky conspiracy theorist always has a gadget or some invention made that will actually come and, help you in the story. She loves spending time in her burrow and returns to it for safety when a situation becomes too bizarre for her. Styx usually considers technology her enemy because it can't be trusted. Styx doesn't have the best social skills, so she often speaks her mind even if it comes across as socially uncalibrated, and her wildness sometimes gets her into trouble during social situations. Styx is not the most trusting individual and is full of outrageous superstitions and paranoia, though her instinctive skepticism often turns out to be quite accurate. She is very superstitious and senses danger and conspiracies everywhere, which leaves her in a state of constant stress. Styx is also one who believes in speaking the truth and cannot stand when the real stories are being withheld. All characters in Sonic have some form of power, right? Sonic has his speed, Tails and Cream can fly, Knuckles is super strong and can glide, Blaze has her pyrokinesis, Silver has telekinesis, and on we go. We've known in the Sonic series, characters just have a lot of powers. Styx, what is her power? Well, Styx usually you wouldn't think, Styx really has a power, and she really doesn't have a power per se in the terms of what I just said, right? Like sonic speed, Silver's telekinesis. She doesn't really have a power like that. She more or less has skills and strengths that none others have, right? Like she is, she has very accurate animal instincts, right? These include a great sense of smell, which allows her to smell at her targets. She has wilderness survival skills, right? She can create shelters, make fires, tie knots, do bird calls, can identify what what berries and fruits and all that on the floor is edible, for you to have, right? She's great at navigating and time, telling the time, right? So she's like a great, outdoors person, right? She's really good in like survival scenarios. She's also an excellent swimmer who can pull off undersea traversing where regular people need wetsuits. Styx is also a talented hunter who can take down her prey with any equipment. So like Styx is more of like a survivor, right? So she doesn't exactly have a power per se, but she has a skill set that again sets her apart from the others, which is she's very good in the wild, in the wilderness. As well, Styx also has a unique weapon / item connected to her, again much like how characters in Sonic have weapons tied to them. Of course, Amy's got her Pico Pico hammer. Sonic and Shadow have their shoes, right? So Styx's is usually her trusty boomerang, which she uses for long range and close range combat. Though she has used other weapons as well, like a crossbow or slingshot, almost all of her art depicts her holding a boomerang, so that's what we're going to go with as her primary weapon. So yeah, most art of Styx is her holding her boomerang, which it's a nice weapon, right? It changes up from like a hammer from Amy, right? Espio kind of is like her. He's got like the ninja stars, the throwing stars and all that, right? Knuckles just has got fist. So it's nice. Boomerang, that works. Outside of Sonic Boom, and this is the big thing, right? Because Styx is like synonymous now with Sonic Boom, the Boom series. Styx has made a couple of appearances outside of Sonic Boom. Primarily, though, her appearances are for the Sonic Boom games outside of the show Sonic Boom itself. She appears in Rise of Lyric, though not as a playable character, though she is playable in Shattered Crystal and Fire and Ice. She is also a main character in the Sonic Boom comics from Archie, and she makes appearances during the Mega Man and Sonic crossover event Worlds Unite. She is the Boom representation there, because that is a big crossover event, and that's kind of where Archie stopped being cool. Styx also appears in Mario and Sonic at the Rio Olympic Games, and this is probably because Sega was really into pushing the Boom series at the time, so they figured you'd put Styx in the game. And that is really Styx's only outside of Boom appearance, is the Rio Olympic Games, right? She kind of got relegated to like someone you'd see like Eggman, Nega, right? Where he's just like, you only see him in the Olympic Games now. Right? Like, that's kind of where she was relegated to after Boom ended. Now, unlike many other fan favorite characters from other continuities, we're talking people like Sally Acorn, Sonya and Manic. She did the impossible. Styx made the jump to mainline canon. Her first canonical appearance is not in Sonic Frontiers, as you would think. Her first canonical appearance is actually in issue 12 of the Sonic comic, which were released on Sonic Channel for Sonic's 25th anniversary. Ooh, so this was 2016. That is her first official canonical appearance. So she was already there canonical before she appeared before her name was dropped in Frontiers. She behaves and acts exactly as her Boom counterpart, and she even got artwork drawn for her by Yuji Uehara himself. The man himself graced Styx and drew her in his art style. Praise the Lord Uehara. Her canon background states that she met Sonic one day and helped him stop an Eggman attack. Since then, she has become an ally and has developed a closer friendship with Amy Rose, just like the Boom series. So yeah, this is the best thing you can do when you bring a character over from another continuity, is try and keep them as close to their counterpart as you can. Right? Try and make the character as close to the version as people love them. Right? So when you're bringing Styx over from Boom, it's like, okay, well, let's not change Styx much. Let's try and keep her exactly as she was. That's when maybe people fall in love with her. Just bring her over and make a couple tweaks that need to be made to have her fit in the mainline continuity, but overall try and keep her unchanged. That's the best thing you can do when you bring a character over from another continuity. Now, Styx' first notable mention, because I doubt many people read the Sonic comic, was in Sonic Frontiers when Amy states that after this whole ordeal, she wants to check if Cream and Styx are free, and maybe they'll make a road trip out of it. Styx isn't mentioned in the Japanese version of Sonic Frontiers, though. That is likely because the trip mentioned by Amy is absent from its script. And as we know, we're in this weird timeline now where, like, in some cases, the English version is the canon version at times, and that just does my head in, right? At times. There's times where the English version is the crapo version, and that's been the case many times. I'm looking at you, freaking Amy Rose's bio from Sonic Gens. Styx's name drop was because Ian Flynn, the writer of Sonic Frontiers, wanted to use it as a way to bring her into the mainline canon and also test the boundaries of what Sega would let him include in the game. I mean, they let him include quite a bit. He got freaking Tangle's name in the game. Ian also claimed, however, that he cannot promise any further appearances of her in the mainline series. Styx was originally meant to appear in the first arc of the IDW comics series. She was supposed to be shown at the end of the Battle for Angel Island saga, living on the island, but Ian Flynn said Sega declined it. Ooh, imagine. I mean, we know Ian had a lot of stuff planned for the initial arc of IDW. I mean, he said he wanted to bring the Freedom Fighters in the first arc, and Sega also told them no. But we were just coming off of Forces at that point, so Sega wasn't as open to, taking a lot of canonical risks and bringing back old characters as they are now, right? If he was to try something like that now, maybe we'd be a lot better, right? Maybe Evan Stanley, could you try and get Styx in here? That'd be nice. Ian did state that she does have a shot at showing up in the comics, and comics, to be honest, is probably where we're gonna get Styx. I doubt we're getting her in a game ever again. I doubt, we're ever gonna get Styx in a video game. I think your best bet for seeing Styx again is the comic books. Is the best bet for Styx. Styx was also going to be in the Christmas 2023 artwork, but was replaced by Blaze the Cat for an unknown reason. So it seems that while Sega is okay with her now being canon, they aren't jumping to use her right away. So yeah, it seems to me like Sega they're fine with the idea of having a version of Styx be in canon. She was a popular character for Boom. So they're like, yeah, it's absolutely fine to have a version of Styx be canon, but where they're not exactly jumping to put her in a bunch of stuff. It's just like, yeah, there's a Styx here. That's it, really. Just to let you know, just like, yeah, Styx is now here, but don't expect to see her anytime soon. But there we go, that's Styx. Well, overall, now after going through all that, what do I think about Styx? I like Styx, I think she's a real fun character. Her conspiracy theories and her nut jobbiness. She's got some wild freaking lines, which you've all probably seen from the Sonic Boom out of context stuff, where she's like, my breakfast is plotting to kill me, or the one where she's like, the possum thing about the government agents. That's a true line. But yeah, I like Styx. I think Styx is a fun character, and I would like to see her again appear in Sonic, but like I said, best bet, comic books. Our best bet is to get Styx in a comic. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me. Let me know what you all think about Styx as a character, and do you want to see her again? Let me know in the comments down below, and everyone, I will see you guys all next time.